All right, so we're diving into AI and the future of accounting. And wow, you guys sent in some interesting stuff for this one. We've got articles, forum discussions. I even see what looks like a grocery list with a messy kitchen photo on the back. What's the common thread here? What's got everyone buzzing?
It is fascinating to see this range of stuff. Right?
Yeah.
It speaks to how AI is just seeping into every corner of life now. It's not just some theoretical thing anymore. It's changing how we organize our kitchens and, yep, even how finance works. So I think our mission today is to really explore that impact, especially how ChatGPT and generative AI are already transforming things, for CFOs and accountants like you listening.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not just talking about the distant future here. This is happening now. In fact, some of what we've been reading even calls AI the biggest thing since the internet, a real Thanos moment for the finance world. Does that feel accurate, would you say?
I think the speed is what's truly remarkable. One source actually mentioned that AI power is doubling every 6 months. That's exponentially faster than, good old Moore's Law.
Yeah.
It really does feel like we're strapped to a rocket, and this is just the ignition spark. By 2026, imagine humanoid robots are commonplace as e-bikes. Can you imagine?
Robots grabbing coffee next to our spreadsheets. It's a lot to process. Let's bring it down to earth a bit.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of how this AI revolution is actually playing out in accounting today? What are we seeing right now?
Think about some of let's be honest, the tedious parts of your job, right? Bookkeeping, pulling reports, even just dealing with a mountain of invoices. AI is already tackling those tasks head on. For example, Blackor. They're using AI to completely streamline report generation. Imagine getting perfectly formatted, data-rich reports in, a fraction of the time it usually takes. That's not some future fantasy. It's happening right now.
That's a huge time saver. But I can also see why some firms might be hesitant to, really make that leap and hand things over to AI.
And you're right, there is some hesitancy. But honestly, that comes with a big risk. There was a Carbon report, I think it was, that found over half of accounting professionals believe AI is absolutely crucial to their firm's value moving forward. They see the writing on the wall. Firms that don't adapt, they risk falling behind. And not just falling behind, they risk losing their best people too.
So it's not even just about efficiency anymore. It's about staying competitive, staying relevant. How does an organization even begin to adapt to this kind of rapid shift? What does it actually look like to be an AI-first accounting firm?
That's the million-dollar question. It really starts with moving beyond just thinking of AI as a way to cut costs. What if you could offer your clients real-time financial dashboards? Or personalized financial advice at scale. That's the kind of value add that really makes a firm stand out,
Totally. It's like shifting from being a historian of past financials to this, real-time advisor, shaping the future with your clients. Love it. But let's get practical for a sec. This all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually use these AI tools? I mean, we're not all coding whizzes here.
You don't have to be.
Yeah.
One of the most important skills in this new world is something called prompting. It's basically learning how to communicate effectively with these AI systems.
Oh, interesting. So it's like having a conversation with a really, really powerful, but maybe a little literal-minded assistant.
Precisely. You need to know how to phrase your requests in just the right way to get the results you want. There's even a technique where you basically ask the AI for the best prompt to use before you ask your actual question. It's like saying, okay, how should I ask you about this to get the best answer?
That is so clever. But what about those of us who are still, deeply attached to our old friend Excel? Can AI help there, or is it time to retire the spreadsheets?
Oh, no, Excel isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
But it is getting a serious AI power-up. Imagine this. You snap a photo of, say, a colleague's handwritten notes from a meeting, and boom, they're instantly digitized into a spreadsheet. That's not magic. That's the power of these new AI tools integrating directly with Excel. It's making it more powerful than ever.
Okay, that's next level stuff. So we've got AI handling the tedious tasks, generating reports, even turning chicken scratch into spreadsheets. This is huge. What does this mean for the role of the CFO in all of this? How does their job change?
I think the CFO's role becomes less about just crunching the numbers themselves and more about interpreting the insights those numbers reveal. And that's really where the true value of AI comes in. It's about helping CFOs become those strategic advisors who can anticipate future trends and guide their organizations to bigger and better things.
It's like having a crystal ball, but instead of vague predictions, you're getting those data-driven insights to make really informed decisions. I love it. So we've established AI is changing the game for everyone in finance, but where does this all lead? What's next?
Well, one source actually brought up a pretty I guess you could say alarming, but definitely thought-provoking ground truth. They said that the U.S. could actually face power shortages by as early as 2028 because of AI's energy demands. That's how significant this technology is.
Wow. That really puts things into perspective. It seems like this AI revolution isn't just coming, it's already here.
It absolutely is, and it's moving fast. The question is, are you ready to ride the wave? And it's going to be a wild ride. You mentioned earlier feeling like you need to be a coding whiz for all of this, but honestly, one of the most interesting things about this whole AI shift is that it's not about becoming some kind of tech expert, right? It's more about learning how to work with these tools, almost like, collaborating with a really brilliant but maybe slightly quirky colleague.
Ooh, I like that analogy. So how do we get this colleague to understand what we need from them?
It all boils down to prompting, which we touched on a bit earlier. One source, I think, is an article actually described it as get this spell casting in the digital realm.
Okay, I love that.
Right. It really captures the feeling, doesn't it? It's about crafting the right spells, which are your prompts, to get the AI to work its magic. Think about it. Like, you wouldn't walk up to a human coworker, ask some vague question, and expect this detailed, perfectly formatted report, would you?
No, definitely not.
Exactly. Same principle applies with AI. It's not just about what you ask, it's how you ask it.
So any tips for crafting those really powerful, effective prompts?
Absolutely. Remember that prompt for prompt technique we talked about?
Yeah, the, hey AI, how should I ask you about this?
Exactly. Let's say you're, I don't know, tackling some tax planning stuff in ChatGPT, right? Instead of diving straight in, start with a prompt like, what are the most important prompts for an accountant using ChatGPT for, effective tax planning? You're essentially asking the AI to give you the cheat sheet before you take the test.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that. But it still feels like a lot of this is, experimenting and figuring things out as we go.
And that's a key difference between AI and traditional software. There's no instruction manual for this stuff.
Yeah.
One expert actually said that very bluntly, no instruction manual. You have to be willing to try things, see what the AI comes back with, refine your approach as you go. It's a process.
It's less about following a set path and more about exploring uncharted territory.
100%.
Oh.
And within that uncharted territory, even our old standby, Excel, is getting a serious upgrade. We talked about AI turning handwritten notes into spreadsheets, but it goes way beyond that. Imagine analyzing massive data sets in Excel, but instead of wrestling with complex formulas, you just talk to it.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. You say something like, show me the trends in customer spending by region, and the AI translates that into the perfect analysis, just like that.
Hold on. So I can just tell Excel what I want, in plain English, and it does it.
Welcome to the future of spreadsheets. Tools like Numerous.ai are bridging that gap between, human language and that really complex data analysis stuff. What used to take hours of formula wrangling can now be done in seconds with the right prompt.
Okay, that is a game changer. It really does feel like we're talking about superpowers for accountants now. But with all this power, I have to ask, what about data security? I mean, accountants deal with some incredibly sensitive information, right?
You're absolutely right to be thinking about that. That's a huge concern, and thankfully it's being taken very, very seriously. OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, they adhere to those major data protection standards, like GDPR. That means there are frameworks in place for things like user consent, data transparency, all those really important secure handling practices.
So it's not just a free-for-all. There are rules and regulations governing how all of this data is used.
Exactly. And for even greater peace of mind, lots of organizations are actually opting for in-house AI solutions. Remember those custom chatbots we were talking about earlier, like KimChat, ChatPWC? Those aren't just for show, They're built to work specifically with an organization's internal data. So data security is baked right in from the start.
So it's like having a private, secure AI assistant that only knows about your company and nothing else. That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. It's all about harnessing that power of AI without compromising on security. And, for those smaller firms out there that might not have the resources for a full-blown custom solution, there are platforms, like one that comes to mind is Brainy Bear. They let you build your own, customer service chatbots and stuff like that. So it puts the control back in your hands while still letting you tap into AI's potential.
That's fantastic. So AI is becoming more and more accessible, even for businesses that aren't these big tech giants. But even with all these advancements, I imagine there's still ethical considerations to think through, right? I mean, just because we can use AI for certain things doesn't always mean we should.
100%. You hit the nail on the head. It's a new frontier. And with that comes, a responsibility to make sure we're using it ethically.
So what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, one source really stressed the need for clear AI governance frameworks within organizations. So that could be something as simple as, creating an AI usage policy, kind of like what you'd have for, say, data privacy or social media.
So setting those ground rules for how AI is used and making sure they align with the company's overall values.
Exactly. It's also about promoting transparency, making sure those AI-driven decisions can be explained, so everyone understands how they were reached. And of course, human oversight is absolutely crucial. AI is a tool, right? But humans need to stay in the driver's seat, guiding its application and making sure it's used for good.
Right. It's a partnership, not a replacement.
Exactly.
But how do you get everyone on board with that? I mean, change can be challenging, especially in a field like accounting that's, been around for centuries.
It's true. People can be resistant to change. You need people who are genuinely passionate about AI, who see its potential, and who can really champion its adoption within their organizations. One source actually highlighted the importance of, and this was a new term for me, but they call them AI ambassadors.
AI ambassadors, what do they do?
They're like the internal cheerleaders for AI. They might be the ones who go out and get some specialized training, experiment with the new tools, and then share that knowledge with their colleagues. They're not just users, they're advocates who help others see, hey, this AI stuff is actually really cool, and it can make our lives easier.
It's like having an in-house AI mentor to guide you through the process. That's a really interesting strategy for any organization looking to, really embrace AI. But all of this still feels very future-focused, What about right now, today? How is AI changing the role of the CFO today?
Well, I think one of the biggest shifts we're seeing is a move from this reactive approach to finance to a much more proactive one. Imagine a CFO who's not just looking at last quarter's numbers, but they're actually using AI to model different scenarios, anticipate potential risks, and even identify new opportunities that they might have missed otherwise.
So it's about moving from reporting on what was to advising on what could be.
Precisely. And that requires a whole new skill set, right? CFOs now need that data literacy, that ability to really understand and interpret those insights that the AI is generating. They also need those, top-notch strategic thinking skills to actually apply those insights to real-world decisions.
Right. It's about being comfortable with both the numbers and the story those numbers are telling.
And being able to communicate that story effectively to stakeholders. One source even suggested that AI could be used to personalize investor communications, providing them with those really specific real-time financial insights tailored to, their interests.
That's amazing. That's a far cry from the static reports of the past, isn't it?
Right. Totally. And it's not just about clients or investors. Imagine using AI to streamline communication with regulators, ensuring that transparency and providing those really clear, easy to understand explanations for any AI-driven financial decisions.
Wow, it's like AI is becoming the universal translator for the entire language of finance. So we've talked about the practicalities, the security concerns, even the ethical considerations of AI. But big picture time, where is all of this heading? What's the ultimate vision for AI in finance, do you think?
Imagine a world where those really routine, tedious tasks are just gone, completely automated. No more manual data entry, no more reconciling spreadsheets until 2 in the morning. AI could handle all of that, freeing up finance professionals to focus on what we humans do best. Strategy, analysis, building those relationships, the really fulfilling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's about augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them entirely.
So it frees up that human capital to focus on the things that AI, at least for now, isn't so great at, things like creativity, critical thinking, really complex problem solving, right?
Right. And this is actually where those AI superstores that we mentioned earlier, those become really interesting. They're kind of like, app stores. But instead of games and social media, you've got this curated collection of AI tools and platforms specifically for finance and business tasks.
So you can browse around, kind of experiment, and find the AI tools that really fit your specific needs, your workflow, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And a lot of them actually offer free tiers or trial periods so you can really get a feel for how they work before, fully committing. Some, like one called Toe, they're known for being super user-friendly, even for beginners. Others, like Character.ai, that one's really cool. It actually focuses on creating these AI-powered characters for more interactive experiences.
Wow, that's wild. It sounds like there's a tool for every need, every learning style, really. But I have to admit, with so many options out there, it can feel a little overwhelming, right? Like, where do you even begin?
It's true. It's a lot to take in. I think the best place to start is by, taking a step back and really identifying your goals. What are you hoping to achieve with AI? Like, are you trying to streamline a specific task, like data analysis or report writing? Or are you maybe looking to, I don't know, enhance your customer service or personalize those client communications? Once you know what you want to achieve, then you can start digging into those AI superstores to find the right tools.
Right, so it's like shopping for any other tool. You need to know what you need it to do before you can find the right one. Right.
100%. And honestly, that whole exploration process, that willingness to experiment, that's what makes this such an exciting time to be, working in the accounting world.
It really does feel like we're on the cusp of something huge. But it's also a little, I don't know, daunting maybe. Like we can see the potential, but it's hard to wrap our heads around how it's all going to play out.
It's true. It's like we're standing at the edge of a whole new world.
Yeah.
And the possibilities are both exhilarating and, yeah, a little bit daunting at the same time.
Exactly. And that's actually why I think this deep dive has been so valuable. It's helped to kind of demystify some of this stuff and give us a framework for thinking about AI's role in accounting, both now and in the future.
I agree. And, as we kind of start to wrap things up here, there's one more crucial aspect I think we need to touch on. It's something that can get lost in all this talk about algorithms and automation, and that's the human element.
Right. At the end of the day, it's about using these incredible advancements to, like, complement and enhance our own skills and expertise, not to replace them entirely.
100%. It's like, think about a master carpenter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Power tools. Those don't replace the carpenter's skill. They actually elevate it. They allow them to work faster, more efficiently, maybe even tackle more ambitious projects than they could have before. AI could be the same for accountants. It's about harnessing that power to achieve even greater things.
Yeah, I love that analogy. So what's the key then to becoming that master carpenter of the AI-powered accounting world? What advice would you give to someone who's maybe just starting out on this journey, feeling a little overwhelmed by it all?
I think the most important thing is to cultivate curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Don't shy away from these new technologies.
Yeah.
Don't assume they're only for the tech people. Dive in, explore those AI superstores, experiment with different tools, find what works for you, And don't be afraid to break a few things along the way.
Right. Sometimes you have to break it to fix it. That's how we learn.
Exactly. And as you're exploring, just remember, AI is at its most powerful when it's guided by human intelligence, human ethics, and a really deep understanding of, your field, your craft.
It's about combining the power of these tools with your own expertise, your own judgment. It's that blend that really makes the magic happen.
100%. And remember, it doesn't have to be a solo mission. Seek out those AI ambassadors we talked about. Join some online communities. Share what you're learning, what you're struggling with. The more we can all learn from each other, the more effectively we can navigate this, exciting but sometimes bumpy new landscape together.
I love that. Collaboration is key. Well, this has been an incredible conversation. This whole deep dive has really given us, and I hope our listeners, a lot to think about. We've gone from the very practical, how to actually use AI in our day-to-day work, to those really big picture questions about the future of accounting as a whole. As we wrap up here, is there one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway here is that the AI revolution, it's not something to be afraid of. It's an opportunity to be seized. So embrace the change, stay curious, and never stop learning. The future of accounting belongs to those who are willing to, dive in head first.
I love it. Dive in head first. That is a fantastic note to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of AI and the future of accounting.